You know, have a place where people are doctoring their age and everything to continue being there. So it is something we, the youth, need to. And the youth should do so coming together, knowing fully well that these people do not represent anything. Like I said before, they are the ones who are preaching religion or tribe. But it's for their own benefit. Everywhere in the world, the youth are agitated.
We will continue. But let me say something quickly. Because I caught a comment where somebody said that because they failed, and that is why everybody is dissociating themselves from this onidiri or onitiri. Can we at least be reasonable for once, please? Eh? Like, what is the odd, or what are the odds that sending 7 people to your state government house or your state house of assembly complex, the entire government establishment, sending 7 people with 2 guns and lot of machetes, 7 people, and then you declared we have taken over the government of Yoruba land. Loma, what are the odds of success in that? Like normal person, anybody who is a normal person, they will sit down, send 7 people to one place, and go wait for success. What are the odds? So if all of us want, if you want to sit down and just kind of imagine some things, trying to create positivity out of all of this, you will be as deluded as those who believed that sitting in their bedroom or living room in faraway America can actually declare an independence, right? That you will now be saying, if it was successful, nobody will be complaining. Is this what success looks like to you? Because I know, you see, this whole thing that you're all witnessing now, let me be honest with you. Only the as our audience. There are deluded people like her. And I understand. You can't be more than what you know, or you can't carry more than what your mental capacity could handle. Like there are people who can't. But there are people who sit with her and they actually believe what she's saying. So don't you think the problem is even more than what we can imagine? How do you get success like that? 2 guns, many machetes. So everybody went to go and wait so that those guys will not be successful and they've taken over the government of Yoruba land. So don't let this look like we are just, maybe we are just like, I don't know how you normally put it, maybe we are just 18. It's not about 18. In fact, listen, I do not really give a damn about Onidiri and all that. It's actually what she represents when it is associated with a noble cause that should be a normal thing that all of us here should be interested in, whether for or against, without any animosity. But we can all see how people are laughing and making mockery of Yoruba nation, this, Yoruba nation, that. And these guys are those who are making that easier for such people. Don't pretend that you don't know that. And that's what we wanted to point out. Okay? So this is not about whether they will be successful or not. How? In reality, how? When you do not have the resources to. I remember when people used to ask to tell me here, hey, Mayogun, you don't know that now. And it's what you don't know is more than you say, I have heard that many times. Because well, you don't know. You don't know maybe they have all this. I said, listen. If you do have something to really kind of push whatever, right? Make sure you do have that and pursue it. Not give to pump action gun, one pump action gun, one what do you call it? one peace to take over government of Yoruba land. Is that actually how it's going to be? Anyway, what really is there is that the only thing that will actually help all of us is for those who are closer to her to really tell her that, listen, mommy, can you please, let's take you for real care. Take away our phone. Disconnect our social media and take your mommy for care. She is there deluded and sending young people to their death. And if she's not stopped, well, we will have to witness more of this too. I'm not saying that anybody can stop her, but if the children don't stop their mom. So if you're looking for any success painted for you by people like this, there are those where you talk to people and say, okay, I have an idea. But when you have to send people to go and become the victims of the Nigeria ruthless, lawless system, then I have a problem with you. Like if you are doubling down, I would rather see you there too. And maybe I'll believe you. Maybe there's some, semblance of a success here or there. Let's go back to that Harvard before we continue. Obi, Harvard Law School.
Everywhere in the world, the youths are agitated in Tiananmen Square in China. The youths are agitated everywhere in the world because they're about them, it's about their future. When I talk about borrowing now in Africa, most of the monies that are being borrowed today are not going to be paid in my own time. Nigeria is now issuing bonds of 2050, 2060. We'll be gone by then. It's the youth that are going to pay it. So it's for that now to say, well, listen, tell us what you're using this money for. Because if the money is productive, they'll enjoy the benefit. If it's not productive, they're going to pay for it. If the youth have been agitated by youth Nigeria, won't be where we are. There was a time we had what we called excess crude money. We had a minister, Kojiwala, begging the entire country through the governors. Can go and read in his book called Fighting Corruption is Dangerous. He was crying, begging for us to save this money for the future. Everybody, I was in government, we all governors, we insisted it must be shared immediately. And it was shared. If that money was there today, I can tell you it would have been a different country. But because they use them in terms of destiny is California. Because in terms of GDP is about 4 trillion. But if governor of California today is seen in a 6-car convoy, I don't think he will last. He will be there in office the next day. In Nigeria, you will have 20 and 20 for the wife. And then the children will be moving with similar situation. And not by the cars. There's no lodge, governor's lodge in Washington. I've had a friend, had a relation with 2 governors here. And I asked them, where is your lodge? They have no lodge in Washington. If you have meeting in Washington, you pay for hotel. In Nigeria, I have to have a huge lodge in Washington, which I pay millions of naira to keep hundreds of people doing nothing except that I have to have a lodge. And when you shut it down, like when I shut my own down, people say, oh, but every state have lodge there. There's no state that have got presidential lodge in the state. Every state in Nigeria have presidential lodge. The president doesn't live in our state. But we build a home, maintain it in case if the president comes. And for 8 years I was there, the president only came once. But I have to keep a house for him. And this is because it is not a true federal system where you can say, no, this can happen in my state. This can happen in my state. When President Obasanjo wanted to come, I said, I have no lodge. He became a, thank God, eventually. I said, he can come in the morning And when you leave, you're the president of the country. You don't need to sleep in Anambra State. Because you don't have a place for you to sleep. And these are what is happening. And if the president is coming, you're expected to host a big dinner that will cost you millions of money, do all sorts of things. And when you're not doing it, you're like, oh, we cannot do this. Oh, you don't. So a subnational state does not actually exist in Nigeria. You have to be pushing, quarreling with everybody, doing this and all that and all that. And you have no protection because people are saying you're not serious, you're not doing what other people are doing. So it's actually a difficult thing until we have true federalism. And that's what people are talking about, restructuring the constitution, having people's constitution where the subnational state can go on their own and be able to do things they want to do without referring to collect their own revenue, spend it the way they want, and people provide security and all that and all. And if you do it, it'll be more effective because you have competition and everything like it's happening here.
Thank you very much for that
situation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Old.
You are bored. Sorry about that. It's simply part of what we we put out, so that if you hear something that is from the third party, or you hear it directly from the person who said it, in this case, Obi, there are two different ways to it, but there are those who just don't give a damn about him, right? I understand. I do give a damn about him. I give a damn about the audience he speaks to, what he tells them. I pay attention to all these things without having to make any projection. The influence he has on them, the same message he kept repeating and repeating, even if you hate him for it, they are powerful messages that are getting the attention of a lot of young minds. And that is something. I don't know how you see, I don't know how you see the challenges ahead of us, okay? For those who want to see it politically and those who want to see it from the other point of view. But there are challenges ahead of us that everyone really matters. And I've kind of promoted that for so long on this platform for an obvious reasons. The obedient are substantial, okay? And whatever this guy says, there are millions of them that actually takes them in. You understand? So it's ideal for you to actually hear them from him. Even if you get bored listening to him, okay? Oh, I'm bored. Because from all these are things that will later happen where people could probably want to Well, he did say something there, not that he's the first one, and he never removed himself from the whole picture. He said us, we. Okay, even when he is in nowhere fingered, okay, in any act of corruption, like you have of his colleagues, but he put himself in. We, the governor, said share the money. Oh, the governor said, but if we had not done that, maybe by now it would have been a different ball game. You see, all of this, you can say he's talking about the 2027, but he's talking to over 10 million people that actually really, really do listen to him. I don't want to get caught unaware, my brother. And here are the reactions of those who hosted him in the Harvard Law School yesterday, what they had to say about him. And we'll go to the next one.
The impression of Peter Obi. Of course, everyone was very excited. Everyone was very ecstatic to see him come. I think there were a lot of people in the beginning, they even asked, is this a scam? Is he really coming? So it was definitely very well received. But personally, I was more interested in the things that he had to say, the insights that he had into how governance systems need to be reformed and transformed in Africa, and particularly in Nigeria, and the role that he sees himself playing in that journey.
You're one of the organizers who brought Mr. Peter Obi here. Just talk to us on the overall reception, things he talked about, and what's the feeling at Harvard Law School?
First of all, we're very grateful that he accepted to come. It was really amazing that he was able to make the time from his busy schedule to join us here. So we're very grateful. We're excited. I think the panelists who spoke with him, the attendees who sat to listen, they all benefited. We're all really excited to have him and to host him at Harvard Law School. In terms of what the conversations were, they were absolutely amazing. Touched on very important points, right? Not just within the context of politics and governance or the context of the participation of youth in the determination of the future of African countries or the African continent, but generally in terms of what the responsibility that we owe, right, as citizens of Africa, as citizens of African countries. How do we perceive our responsibility? How do we take ownership of building like our countries in whatever positions we find ourselves in, positions of control, positions of duty, positions of business? What kind of mindset do we take to that? A mindset of integrity, right? A mindset of change, a mindset of accelerated transformation using the resources available to us. So he highlighted very important perspectives which apply across governance, applies to politics, but applies generally to how we should start looking at what we should do about ensuring that we build the continent that we hope we will leave behind, or we hope that we can benefit from in the near future. Very, very interesting points, very important conversations that we're having, and we're so very happy that we're able to do this.
Chris, you brought Mr. Peter over here. I want to know, what was it about, the experience, the impact? What did you feel? Talk to us about Harvard Law School with Mr. Peter today.
Well, thank you very much. So my name is Boris Wenu. I'm a student at Harvard Kennedy School from Benin Republic. And Nigeria is not only is actually the neighboring country, so we actually follow very carefully what's going on there. But I was lucky sometime before actually Nigeria election to be at Harvard Business School, where Mr. Obi was invited and actually talk about what his program for Nigerian people would be. And I would say that I was really, really amazed by what I heard and how inspiring he was. So when my colleagues actually brought up the idea to host him back for this conference, I just thought that was just, phenomenal to open up again after his experience going through election, come to talk to us, how refreshing, how, what did he learn even after this experience? We know. So that was really the first mindset. That was actually the major reason. Second, the continent is actually going through a lot of crisis right now. And we need great leaders to stand up, just not only for the youth, but also for the future of Africa. And we thought that he has some of those inspiring words and ideas that need to be heard and spread out within this community, especially if, students who are preparing after getting their degree, preparing to get back to the continent, serve the continent, hearing from his experience, what he had learned. All those things are really major reasons why we actually brought him. And I mentioned crisis because, we think that there is a leadership crisis going on in the continent, which now is leading to violent crisis, really, leading to coups and all those kind of things, the democracy recession, all those kind of things going on in the continent. And we need to step up. He's one of those people actually trying to do that. And, modeling him, learning from him, his experience. Those are some of the major reasons why we brought him here.
Thank you. Mr. Peter is here. You were part of the interactive lecture he gave.
Yeah.
I just want to know what's your take on it. What's the expression? What's the impact? And tell us what. Just talk to us.
I mean, first off, Peter Obi is someone that I deeply admire, and is the particular reason I came here today. For context, I work in New York, and I decided to come in this morning for this particular program, and I was not disappointed. The thing about Peter Obi is he's very meteoric, and what I mean by that is he challenges you to think about something differently, and that's really what I look out for in people, especially persons that I hope to admire, in whose footsteps I hope to follow. You mentioned a couple of things today that really piqued my interest, and I discussed some of them with him, and I was very impressed. I think that people really underestimate the power of what is happening today, politically speaking. So many persons before now, they were not so interested in Nigerian politics. And many persons are still averse to it, understandably so. But what we see today is a rejuvenation of that that spirit. People are more interested. Even the dissentients, the persons who have things to say that are not so nice about what he's doing, they are interested. So by osmosis, everybody's learning. By osmosis, everybody wants to change.
The member of the Temple of Truth. Una patience be like a mustard seed, or the patience of a cat. You get bored so easily, and then you just keep like firing back that way. But I will still have to deliver what I have to deliver. And I wish you could forward that, like fast forward it, so that, it doesn't get you bored. Oh. It's just that the next story I want to share with you, it's not the type that, I don't know how it's going to make you bored or angry, or both. It is the news of one Adamu Muhammad, who killed a pregnant woman in Enugu. He's a soldier. But the news that came out actually said he is a repentant soldier, one of those repentant repentant Boko Haram fighter that got recruited into the Nigerian army. How do you think they do graduation for terrorists in Nigeria when they repent? Let me show you, like this one.
In the camp, it is expected that the vocational skills acquired during the program will be a source of livelihood for you and your family. Please resist the temptation to sell them, as your survival going forward will largely depend on this starter pack.
Na yi imani a matsayin tsohon don kungiyar Boko Haram.
Repentant Boko Haram. And the Nigerian army said, no. That's not the story. In fact, they denied ever recruiting repentant terrorists into the Nigerian army. According to them, the only time they recruited the repentant terrorists not into the army, it was the Joint Military Task Force. That's what they said. They said that they didn't add them to the army but they added them to another army fighting terrorists, okay? And that army is called JTF Army, Joint Task Force, comprising vigilantes, repentant Boko Haram, and the Nigerian army. I don't believe them, but they came out to deny that. They said, yeah, the killing did take place. They didn't tell us what really happened. But when the young guy was when the news broke, what we heard then was that this young woman was pregnant. Let me go check her name. Her name has something to do like, she is probably Fulani as well, or not. All right. According to them, Adamu Muhammad, that's the name of the private, the soldier. And the lady killed is Miss, listen up, Awakulu Abra. That's not Igbo name. So what happened was that they said this lady, this pregnant woman's throat was slit. She was killed. Her throat was slit. And then this guy kept her body until he was arrested. And he's been in their military detention. I have a mixed feeling, just like a lot of people who have reacted to it. Okay? That a soldier slit the throat of a pregnant woman, and we do not have details of why, except the fact that he is a repentant terrorist, a repentant Boko Haram. And when the Nigerian military was releasing their statement over the killing, the murder, they only came out to just deny, no, he's not a Boko Haram member. Okay? They didn't see anything else. Well, yeah, the killing did take place. A woman whose throat was slit a few days ago, and the body was kept by this guy in his house and all that until it got apprehended or disapprehended. And that set some level of, or should I say, that kind of triggered something in me when I saw the news. Why I added it to this chat tonight. For the past 2 weeks, the people of Enugu, few local government areas where the Fulani terrorists, called the Fulani herdsmen, have been terrorizing the locals, that they have been staging protests. I am talking about protests that even me with the Glasgow. I have seen them many times, and I am actually yet to see the reactions of their own governor, that is not far away from where they were protesting. So hearing that a soldier slit the throat of a woman, be an extra. And in fact, it is an extra. But that's it. That's all I heard about it. Another death, another unlucky victim. In Plateau State, the bloody thing is that 11 people were killed in a community by the same jihadist. 11 people. It's on the news. And it's just like continue to, revalidate that, that truth are saying. And that is, those of us who survived yesterday, we are survivors of yesterday. And we are the would-be victims of today. Now, those of us who have survived today, we are those who are going to be the potential victims of tomorrow. And it is always going to be like that, turn by turn, Nigeria Limited, until we put a stop to it. People need to know why a stop has to be put to it too, right? Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I was planning to take a course tonight, and I'm still going to actually take that call tonight.